Alex, I say this tentatively because I don't get to talk first ever, but I'm excited to talk today. We're going to talk about esports, but we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to talk to students and not teachers, not adults. We're going to talk to students or very recently former students. So Alex, our guests today are esports players, and you're the one who brought them to us to talk to. So tell us a bit about how you found these guys.
Oh man, I mean, it was so much fun. I was at the IATA conference in Idaho with the STS Education Group. I was representing educational collaborators. We were at their booth, and I had seen my son play in tournaments in gaming, but he does a player versus player game. This was the first time I had seen a team school esports tournament, the full thing, stage, lights, everything. It was awesome. And there were these three kids from Nampa outside of Boise, and they were crushing it. I mean, destroying everyone, and it was a ton of fun. We had them in the booth. They came by our booth. They played on the console that we had set up inside the booth. They were amazing. They were playing Rocket League in the tournament. We put the Rocket League map up on our interactive panel. They were talking strategy. It was phenomenal. It was such an incredible thing to see.
You know, I remember that evening you and I had a meeting about something, and I don't recall what the meeting was about because all you wanted to do was talk about what you saw that day in the esports gaming, these guys and what they were doing. And like, normally I can't shut you up anyway, but this was interesting. So I know there's more to this story and how they ended up with us. So go ahead, Alex, tell us more.
Well, I mean, we were so inspired by this, right? And we wanted to see how we could help them sort of in their next journey, right? So STS Education sponsored them with a Lenovo Legion laptop. STEMforge, which is another one of our partners, agreed to support them on coaching for Rocket League. And then another partner, MaxCase, gave them backpacks to carry all this stuff to continue on at esports competitions. And so, it's so fun. We wanted to have them on the show because I love conferences. We did another whole podcast about that. But how often do we get to go to a conference and get inspired by students to help sort of inspire and support them in their next step? And it was probably one of the greatest conference experiences I've had. And so we wanted to have them on the show. So the three guys that I just shared about, we got them today from Nampa High School. What do you say we get into it?
I say we do get into it.
So today we have the three players from the Nampa Esports team: Alex Grover, Keegan Worrell, and Patrick Lewis. Guys, thanks for coming. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
This is where you guys can say thanks or, hey, great to be here. Any of that kind of stuff would be fine. It'd be good.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for being here.
Guys, this is where this is typically how it goes. Alex talks and people just stare at him because they don't understand. So we'll talk about something that is a good. We'll forgive you guys for being a little on the slower side today. I understand that as of today, you're all eligible to turn pro. You all graduated from high school yesterday, correct? So congratulations. Right. And I suspect ensuing celebration after that. So now that you're eligible to turn pro, or this is a question I got. So we didn't have esports 100 years ago when I was in high school. I played baseball and wrestled. Do you get varsity jackets for being for competing in esports?
No, I don't even think we get like a varsity letter since it's so new. Oh, nah. They were talking about it in the board meeting or whatever we went to. I forgot what it's called, but it seems like they want that to happen though, like for the letters.
So, okay. Do you think you should get a varsity letter? Is that, I mean, it seems to me that you've practiced, spent a lot of time developing your skills. What do you think of that?
I mean, they can go both ways. A worry could be how other people would think it's, I guess, easier, which in some senses it is. Like physically, we don't gotta keep our bodies in tune or, like actually get super fit in order to like play football. But in a game like Rocket League, I mainly just played it for fun. And then I was like, they do some cool stuff. I want to do that. And so that's why I started doing the cool stuff. And that takes a long time.
What do you mean by the cool stuff?
The stuff that the pro players are able to do, you know?
Gotcha. So, but just as a ballpark estimate, how many hours a week do you guys spend playing together? Or did you?
Yeah, it's not too often.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a schedule that likes to conflict with each other. It's usually just two of us at a time.
Okay. Yeah. And so just how much time do you guys each spend roughly a week playing Rocket League?
I mean, mine varies because recently I've been very, very busy. So it's been a lot less. But back when I was playing all the time, it'd be like I came home from school and then grinded till like midnight, 5 days a week. So I don't know how much hours that is, but that's a rough estimate of like how I used to play the
4 to midnight.
Well, probably because I'm out in QNO, so I'd probably hop on around like 5 p.m. and then probably grind. But it wouldn't be like a straight grind. I would play different games, but mostly Rocket League all the way till midnight usually. I'm a grinder, so I play really late.
Okay. So roughly 6. Alex, about how long do you play?
Yeah, I also have I had a pretty big busy schedule with like bands and tennis and stuff and other sports. So I spent a lot of time practicing my instruments and also practicing tennis and stuff. So I get home maybe around like 8 p.m. and then play for like 2-3 hours and then go to bed. So maybe 3 days or 3 hours a day, maybe 4 days a week. So like 12 hours a week when I could.
Keegan, what about you?
Recently, I don't play too crazy. But like last year, sophomore year, freshman year, that's kind of like when I wanted to do all that stuff. And it would like at least 5 hours every day.
Wow. Well, I mean, like an athlete is going to do practice for like 2 to 3 hours a day, right? In high school. And you guys were matching or exceeding that. And would you, and you pretty much keep that up throughout the year rather than just a season?
Yeah, because I mean, outside of just esports, I would just play the game for fun just because it was fun. So then I would just be playing all the time.
Yeah. That's a fair amount of play.
So Alex, you had mentioned that you have band and other responsibilities. How do you balance that with like homework and time with your family, friends outside of your sports? How do you do that? Or does Rocket League just become, or gaming altogether just become all encompassing?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of practice being busy since like 6th grade. I've been involved with a whole bunch of like sports and bands still. And I mean, like as any young kid, you know, you like playing video games. So in your free time, you kind of just make time for it. And so with all that stuff, I would still hang out with my friends, my family, get my schoolwork done, when I had to. You know, I'd do all that stuff, but I'd also have some free time to myself where I'd want to play video games, or I'd, you know, make time to play video games because that was part of my childhood. But, so yeah, no, I kind of was built into my schedule from the start, I guess.
Tough making time for all that stuff. I mean, I think that's not exclusive to esports, right? I have a son roughly your age as well. He just graduated as well this week, and you know, fitting. He doesn't play nearly as well as you guys. I've seen you play, but you know, for him, it's esports, it's band, it's jazz, it's you know, being in the play and all. I'm still trying to find time for high school or for homework and stuff. So a fair number of our listeners are lame adults like myself and may not know. I know a little of Rocket League, but describe Rocket League to some of our listeners who may not know what that game is.
Car soccer.
Car soccer. All right. So it's 3 people, 3 cars versus 3 people with 3 cars kicking around a soccer ball. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So I'll ask Patrick, since I asked Alex a question and Keegan just answered. Patrick, in you know, more traditional sports, you have like a quarterback and wide receiver. You have different positions, or you have a shortstop and pitcher. Is that the same thing that you have in Rocket League or any of these games where you have positions or roles, or somebody does specifically offense or defense or anything like that?
Yeah, with Rocket League, it basically the basic strat that everyone basically does is basically works as first man, second man, third man. And basically first man just is the one that's like closest to the play and will make a challenge on the ball or force, which means like get the other team to do something with the ball. And second man's kind of like the support for the first man. And then third man is like worst possible scenario. So like guarded net or like just bad. It thought how to just generalize it as much as possible. That's basically the main strat with Rocket League.
So that makes sense to me. So when the three of you are playing together, who does what?
It works in a rotation. So like first man after let's say for example, first man, right? The closest to the play, he'll challenge the ball and say, he makes a challenge at 50s, which means the ball was, they both clash. The ball goes somewhere random. Now first man can, he can stay in the play, but generally sometimes first man will rotate back and then get boost. And now you become third man. So basically it works in like a giant cycle, like a circle. So everyone is every
that
position.
Makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever had to describe it to somebody before, but that was a really good description. Now I understand. It changes depending on where you're at in the field of play, where you're at on the screen, and where the play is actually happening. Okay, I got it.
So, but did you get coached that? Did you find that out through videos? Did you guys come up with your own rotation system? How did you come to sort of understand that as your sort of mode of play?
For me, it's something I learned very early on, just watching like a YouTube video. You just look up a YouTube video, how to get better at Rocket League. And they'll be like, oh, well, you need rotation. So, like basically rotation is just the most base system of making 3v3 work. And there is a lot more in-depth details that I've like learned from like coaching. But if you just like look up how to get better at Rocket League, every single YouTube video will be like, oh, you need rotation. And then you'll learn it.
Got it. And so did you guys sort of learn that play together, or did one of you kind of take on the lead to sort of, do one of you sort of play the role of player coach, or do you guys just kind of figure it out together?
Keegan is like a coach and a teammate at the same time. He's been coaching me up since I started esports. Like if I've had a coach, it's getting Keegan. So he's always like coaching, but he also like a teammate. But me and Alex always say this, Keegan can really do his own thing, but he's really like a coach and a teammate at the same time.
Yeah, he's got the most experience out of all of us. Definitely grinded the hardest over time. So he definitely knows what he's doing a lot more than me, at least.
Nice to have someone like that on your team, which is great. So how does that sort of impact you guys as just sort of like a trio of friends, right? Like we chatted a little bit about this up in Idaho, and I want to kind of bring this back to the show. You guys all knew each other before you started playing together, right? Were you all in that club, or did you guys know each other even before that club?
I mean, when I was like really bad at the game, Alex was around the same rank, and we would, I guess, mess around. And then a little later is when I found out Patrick played, and then he was kind of in the same boat. But at the time, we didn't play with Alex. We played with another friend of ours. And then this year is when we grabbed Alex. But yeah, we all have played the game, and we've all known each other way beforehand.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I gotta believe that like any sport, spending this much time together kind of draws you closer. Has it drawn you closer or pushed you further apart, or how has that impacted your relationships?
Yeah, playing the game, especially I remember like even back when we had James at the very start, it made us really, really close. And then even with this trio, like Alex, I didn't talk to him much, like a whole lot, except for class in school. But playing the game really brought me and Alex closer a lot. Me and Keegan was already close, but it does bring us closer. Even though like when you do play, it's very competitive. You are going to get heated a little bit. So we all have our little headaches here and there where we try to fight a little bit. But, it's just like regular friendships. I think it brought us closer, if anything.
So it sounds like this is just what I see here is it sounds like the three of you may not have been friends if there wasn't esports. You would have had no reason or anything in common that you might have hung out together or to get to know each other. But because of this, you got a lot closer, got to know each other more. Is that accurate?
I would say them two, Patrick and Keegan, were definitely friends, like without it. I met them in 6th grade, so I've known them for a while, but like I never really hung out with them. So this is just giving me more time to hang out with them. But I'd say we were still like homies, you know what I'm saying? But them two, I know they've been friends for a while, so I would say it gave us the opportunity to hang out more.
So you guys mentioned that you play some other games. like aside from Rocket League, which I've seen you guys play and it's ridiculously amazing to watch, what other games do you guys play? We'll start with Keegan.
Okay. So it's gonna change soon, but half of my Steam library right now is like gifted to me. But I like to play really whatever. Right now, I'm addicted like a little fiend to this one survival game. Let's see. My one friend also likes to play a game called Warframe. It's another pretty OG game. So it's kind of like a nostalgic sort of game. And I guess it's like think of it as World of Warcraft, I guess, with robot ninjas, I guess. I got War Thunder, which is basically like a plane sim game, which can also be a naval sim and a tank sim. It's pretty lit. You can do like World War I, II, like there's so many planes. It's cool. You can play jets or prop planes. It don't matter.
Thanks.
Another OG game of mine that I love to play with my one friend is 7 Days, for 7 Days to Die. It's another really old game.
What are your favorites, Patrick?
I'll be playing Car X, which is like a drift game. I'll be playing that a lot. I play Assetto Corsa, which is like another car game. Brawlhalla is like a game I love a lot, and I really grinded that game. Like, if there's esports for that in our club at school, I would do esports for that too. And then I don't know. I'm not playing much other game. I used to be into like dirt bike games too. I used to dirt bike, but yeah, I've only been playing like really car games outside of Rocket League.
Alex Inman, step aside while we talk about car games for a second.
Sure.
Okay. When you're playing car games, are you playing in a rig, steering wheel, shifter, pedals, or just a joystick, just a controller?
Without the resources, I would get a whole like sim rig with a steering wheel, shifter, pedals, all that. But I can only play with my controller because I don't have money for that.
This is one of the reasons why I got a good job, so I'd have money for that. So I'd encourage you on that way. I'm a car game guy as well. So I just wanted.
Do you play in a rig, Bob?
I do.
See, Bob's also got like a real rig. Bob actually races cars, like for real.
He does for real.
Not on a game. Like if
I
he
live in
crashes
Ohio,
when he drives on the weekend, he dies. For real.
But I also live in Ohio where it snows 6 months of the year, so time behind that wheel is a little different. How about you? Not Alex Inman. How about you, Alex? What do you play?
I grew up on a lot of Need for Speed games. I like Need for Speed. Need for Speed Heat is a good one. So I've played that. I play War Thunder. That's a fun one. What Keegan was talking about. My dad has his pilot's license, so I grew up like him fixing up a plane, his personal plane. So that's been fun. I used to play Minecraft a lot with my friends and actually with my dad and sisters. So we had our like family server, but yeah, that's about it. I don't play a lot of games nowadays, but.
Are you dealing with too many broken Chromebooks at your school? It can be tough to keep up. That's where the STS Education and FedEx Fixed Cost Chromebook Repair Program comes in. For $99, we take care of everything, shipping, parts, and labor. This means fewer headaches for you and more consistent learning for your students. To learn more, check out stsed.com/break-fix.
Struggling to find and retain excellent staff for your CIO, academic tech coaching, or database manager positions? Educational Collaborators provides hybrid and remote services from a team of former and current EdTech experts to help you fill these positions with full and fractional roles. Add national EdTech leaders to your staff on your current personnel budget. Need operational IT support? Reach out to my good friend and co-host Bob Cerruti at EduTech. Don't struggle with school technology staffing. Contact us today. Visit educollaborators.com/augmented-services.
What drives you guys when you're playing your games? Like, obviously to start, you're looking for fun, just to pass the time. But some of these games require a lot of work to get good at. And I'm sure there are some games where you're like, I'm willing to put in the time to get excellent at this game. And some games where you're like, nah, it's not worth my time. Clearly with Rocket League, you guys got good at that. How do you decide whether or not a game is worth putting in the time and effort to get great at it? What drives that decision? Keegan, I'll start with you since you're the more experienced gamer that according to your friends?
Well, if I like it, I want to play it. If I don't like it, I don't play it.
Is that what you're saying? If it's a joyful game, a game that brings you a lot of fun, I'll get good at it. And if it's not,
One of the first reasons I wanted to play Rocket League is because it had the creek system. This is basically just like gambling, but it was really cool to watch like openings. And then at the same time, the game was kind of interesting, right? It's like most game, like it's literally like the biggest oddball out of modern, like big games, I guess. And so it was pretty cool to see that as like a middle schooler. And then played it for a while, just messing around with people, going into custom games, playing like literal sharks and minnows. And then, like I said, I was like, damn, that's cool. I like that. I want to do that. And then grinded to do so, along with trading, which they got rid of, which is crazy. It's so dumb. Well, I was a little hustler. That was fun.
so we know that you guys were up very, very late celebrating your graduation. And so we appreciate you guys giving us some time today. We're going to pop into some sort of rapid fire questions and then move closer to the end here. So, Bob, you want to kind of launch our rapid fire questions?
I love that Alex sets it up is if it's a portion of a contest. Next up, the rapid fire section of our game. So we kind of cheat here. We have people who give us questions and I'll pick out what I like out of them.
We don't do any real work. No.
So I'll start with a question I would ask is, if you could game on any console, PC, whatever, what's your pick? And I'll start with Patrick.
PC.
Okay, Alex, go ahead.
PC.
Same for you, Keegan.
Pretty big difference.
Okay, see, that's easy enough. That's how I would go to, for the record.
All right. Yeah, that's what I would do too. All right, if you could play with
That's
the
what
Pro,
I would do too. Is if he were getting ready to load up Discord and join with his friends. You're right in there, right, Alex?
So with two of my boys, we did the build PC gamer, build gaming PCs, right? Like got all the components and then built it because I wanted my boys to learn how to build a PC. And their response was, well, Dad, fine, I will spend time with you if you insist. But if we're going to build a PC, we're building a gaming PC, right? And it was fun because like I built PCs before, but I had not built them with, the lighting and all of that. And so building a gaming PC was actually was probably the most fun of any PCs I've ever built. So it was great. So see, Bob thought he had me like, yeah, Alex doesn't do anything with PCs. No.
Whenever I ask you a question, I'm the guy who gets the short end of the stick because you talk too long. I'm going to move on to my next question after your diatribe.
I want to ask him about who they would play with. If you could play with a pro, who would you play with? We'll start with, I'll go across the screen as you exist on my screen. So Alex.
I'm going to go off Rocket League. There's this kid that came into the scene and Patrick and Keegan know who he is. His name is Zen and he's like super young. It's like 4 or 5 years younger than us. And he's just out of this world. So
nice.
His name is Zen, but he's a French player. So
He's
Got
like
it.
15 or 16.
Keegan, who would you play with?
Shroud.
Shroud? What game?
He does mainly FPSs.
Okay.
So like Cisco, Valorant, PUBG, kind of just like a pretty big staple. Also just seems pretty cool. So
Nice. Patrick, who'd you play with?
He's or I don't know if he still is, maybe, but pro Rocket League player Arsenal because I think our personalities would like be really good together, and he's really fun and vibey. So yeah,
Nice.
So I know a lot of people who game, and even I, when I'm playing something, I'll think of this is what I would do differently with this game, or this is why did they do this? Now I play more realistic racing games, so I compare my life experience in cars with what I'm seeing in a game. But you don't have to make it life or not. But I'm curious, Alex, if you could create a game or modify a game or make a game a little better, what would you do?
that's a good question. I think one thing that comes to mind is Minecraft is so much more different than it was when I was a little kid. It's just like when I want like the nostalgia, it's like not there. And so I wish the nostalgia was there. It kind of is, but it's like they've just added so many updates. So maybe I'd like take it down a notch or just like go back and play the beta and alpha like I did when I was like 5 or something.
Alex wants the classic edition of Minecraft Classic.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
That needs to get launched. Minecraft Classic.
How about you, Keegan?
Man, let me look at my library again.
If you could make up a game, Keegan, what would that game be?
Probably survival.
A survival game? Nice.
They're just fun if they're done right.
That's about right.
But done right.
Patrick, you're the last one. You've had the time to think about it.
Oh, I don't know. I've been trying to think of like, I don't know. I'd probably have to go with a game that I just create from scratch. And the idea I have for that is just like a game I always kind of wanted to see. I don't know if this exists, but like a football game, but was like super like ragdoll, like sim type physics. Like I've seen games kind of like that, but I don't know. The game like that would seem really fun to create and look really funny to play.
So guys, we mentioned a couple times that you graduated from high school. Again, congratulations. What's next for you guys? We'll go in the same order. Alex, what's next for you?
I'm planning to serve a mission for Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then after which, that'll be 2 years. And then after which, I plan to attend BYUI for computer engineering of some sorts, whether that be just general computer engineering or like cybersecurity or, things like that. I plan to do something with computers just because my dad is a computer engineer and my brother-in-law just graduated from BYU Provo with a degree in cybersecurity. So I got a lot of help in that area. And so, yeah, that's just kind of what I've been thinking. It may change, and then I'll definitely be minoring in music. That's
Nice.
a big part of my life. So I want to keep it. But yeah, so
What do you
I'm
play?
just preparing to serve a mission.
Nice.
What do I play?
Yeah.
I play all of the saxophones, soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Yeah, I've played
Nice.
them all. So
Nice. Excellent. Keegan, what's next for you, man?
I'm going to go work with my dad so I can get a bunch of money to do stuff I want. And then I do want to try and keep grinding Rocket League because I've been told from people and even Doc to basically just keep going. So I guess if I were to say the reason why I'm playing Rocket League is just being hopeful. And that aside, I also want to crib up with one of my friends. His name's Michael. He lives in Washington. We just want to do some cool stuff.
Nice.
Don't really
That's
matter
good.
what it is.
Patrick, what's next for you, man?
Starting September, I have this like apprenticeship that I'm doing where you like get paid, but also get taught at the same time. It's like 4 years. And it's like a union with like benefits too. And that was my alternative from like going to CWI, which is like a trade school over here. And it just seemed like the better option for me because I get certified in like 3 different areas, and then I could just take that 4 years of like learning while getting paid on the job, and then take that out into the workforce and hopefully make a pretty good living.
Nice. What kind of trade? Is this like construction, electrical?
More towards like just welding, fabrication.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
That's great. That's great. Welding is that's a big industry. You can get paid sweet in that. So great. Any plans for you guys to continue? Well, Keegan, you mentioned that maybe continuing Rocket League. Have you guys thought about? Are you guys playing local tournaments? Have you guys thought about continuing any esports work?
I mean, yeah, I'm down. Well, like at least I'm pretty sure we was all on the page that we was down until Alex leaves for his mission to kind of just keep, go to tournaments or little league matches or stuff like that is what I think. Is we're on the same page, but really just kind of playing together still until Alex leaves, I think.
Got it. Keegan, I cut you off. You were going to say something?
We were told, or I was told, there's this little like thing called League OS, and so basically just trying to do good in there. We don't really know of local tournaments. Basically just keep trying to write it out.
Great. So we usually ask this question of everybody. Usually they have to remember further back than each of you. So we'll go with Alex first. Favorite teacher and why? Or who made the biggest impression on you as a teacher?
I kind of have 2. The first one is my band teacher currently. So I had a band teacher in 6th grade and he retired like halfway through the year. So our student teacher became our band teacher and he was with us. Like he was over at my middle school until last year, and my high school band directors. And so my middle school teacher actually moved to my high school. And so, I was able to be his first 6th grade class because he was a fresh teacher at that point, and his first senior class. And
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And I've just known him throughout the years, and I've been able to hang out with him and spend time with him, and he's been able to see me grow up and develop as a musician. So we've kind of created a strong bond, and he's young, so he's like a brother to me. So he's only like 7 years older than me or so, but he's super awesome. His name is Mr. Scene, and incredible musician. And then my other teacher that I want to talk about real quick is my science teacher, Mr. Nelson. Pretty sure these guys know him. But he's super cool. He's young, like Mr. Scene, and he's a science teacher. I had him freshman year and then junior year, and I was a TA for him this year. And he's just like super understanding and like incredible young man. Like he's great to talk to. He's got a wife and a kid. He's like pretty like that on his, path to having a good life. So, he's just super nice, and he like is very charismatic and considerate towards like all of his students. So yeah.
Patrick, how about you?
I've never had like a favorite because I've never got really close and connected with teachers. But if I'm going off of like who I had the biggest impact, it was a middle school teacher I had. His name was Mr. McCrae. And the reason I say that is because he made learning fun and showed me learning didn't have to be always boring. And that's when like kind of I got introduced, like the laptops, we were using the laptops to learn. And like the way we learned was through Minecraft. Like you could do projects on Minecraft and stuff. And then just the way he went about any assignment, like he would have a way to make it fun. So I'd say like the reason I like him the most is because he made learning for me like not always boring. It doesn't always got to be boring. It can be fun and you can still learn. And that's why I like him the most.
I was in a similar situation where I didn't think in school that you could enjoy learning. So it wasn't so much of getting close to somebody, but just to make you realize that it doesn't have to be boring, or it doesn't have to be somebody telling you what to do. It could be something that you want to do on your own. So you and I were in the same boat. I never was lucky enough to have a relationship like Alex has with his teachers. And that's terrific. But just knowing that a teacher out there wants you to enjoy learning is a big step. How about you, Keegan? Do you have somebody that has made an impression on you or made school a little easier for you?
I've never really been close with teachers like Patrick. Most of the time, they don't really make it engaging. And so it's just like, I don't really want to do it. But funny enough, a teacher I do like a lot, his name's Coffee. I didn't even have a class with him. I actually just started like randomly hanging out in his class during like lunch and mentoring last year. And I kind of just kept through it all the time. Had a bunch of talks with him. Good guy. Really, really easy to talk to. Wish I did have him for a class. One of the few teachers I just do the work for just because it's Coffee, But,
just somebody you respect. So you'd be willing to do the work because you made a connection. That's great. Well, guys, thanks so much for being on the show. I mean, you've graduated yesterday, had a big party, got to be exhausting, but Bob and I really enjoyed having you, and I'm sure our listeners will love hearing your story. And we're really excited to see what's next for you guys. So thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us. You good.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, Alex, this is what I got. I shouldn't say this is what I got. This is what struck me about this. There's lots of stuff there. And obviously these guys, they're not used to this. So they're the same as me. They're not used to this, talking to people for an audience. But they couldn't be three different people. Like,
you mean
they reminded me.
Yeah.
This is here a pop culture reference. The Breakfast Club. Like, yeah,
right.
You had three different cliques, I'd say, and yet they were you could tell that they were friends. They were close. They were drawn together by the Esports. Now, Keegan and Patrick, had been friends prior to, but Esports brought these three very different people together, and you could see, and I suspect they'll be friends for life over this. And I think they're going to have three very different trajectories, as they talked about. Yeah. And they're just in like career choices, but that's what struck me. So what about you?
No, similarly, right? But I guess what I was thinking about is as we talk to them about,
how they met, how they worked, and then their future lives and all that kind of stuff. You're right. They could not be more different from one another, but that is, that's kind of what team is, right? And the reason I point that out is because I think, at their school, they just recently had a board meeting to decide whether or not esports was going to be considered like a formal team activity, right? A formal sport. And I think there's a lot of people who think of gamers as the people who sit in their basement a little more like Keegan, right? Like people who are just sort of like solo players who just play and get good. But the reality is esports is so much more than that. It really is team. And they showed us that in this interview, right? And it just brings people together. I just thought that was awesome.
I think it was insightful on Keegan's part to say he could see both sides of why they would get a varsity letter or not. But I think what Keegan might be missing is, like Alex, I know here I didn't ask Alex, but band members get varsity letters in the schools that I've been in because they put in the time and effort to do it. And they don't look like the traditional athlete, or they don't do the things that a traditional athlete does. But I think all of us would say that they've earned their letter in band. I mean, I'm sure that Alex has spent hours and hours mastering those instruments, but he did it for joy. He didn't do it to be good at it. He did it for joy. And I think Keegan is discounting. There are lots of people who play games for joy. I play them for fun, but they are dedicated and have that drive for whatever reason it is to get very, very good at it. And I think that Patrick and Alex both, indicated or alluded to this. It wasn't by mistake. Keegan is the coach. Keegan is the guy who thought of the strategy, the guy who implements the strategy. Now, it may not come off like that, like what we would picture as a coach, but it was very evident that they looked to him to lead them. And another way, that's just not the way you saw it coming out. If you judged the books by their covers, that's not what you would see.
That's exactly right. And for those who are listening on the podcast and not watching on the video, and I don't even know if the final cut is going to show this, but the way Patrick and Alex's face sort of lit up when I asked about who sort of the leader was, and they both immediately went to Keegan. What makes that most exciting is Keegan, as you said, Bob, I don't think he sees himself as a leader, but he clearly is, and I think will be that leader. And esports gave him the space to have that, just like any other sport can help students sort of identify who they are and help them grow in who they are. And I think it was neat to sort of watch them sort of come to some of those realizations through the questions, because I don't think they saw it that way. They see themselves as just playing because of joy. But the reality is that environment brought that leadership out of them.
I think Keegan makes the mistake that a lot of people do, adults as well. They think leadership goes with a title. Like, nobody named him the coach, so he's not the coach. But we know from our life experience that leaders have nothing to do with titles. Leaders are who choose to lead and who choose to be role models. And it was clear that Keegan was that role model for them. And it was really cool to see their like you said, their reaction. They knew immediately who the coach was, and so did Keegan. Like, Keegan knew that, but it wasn't until then that he put it together.
Yeah, and it'll be fun to follow their futures. Well, Bob, thanks again for another spectacular episode and great questions. Thanks so much.
It was a good time.
Till next time, my friend.
Learning Through Technology, a K-12 EdTech podcast, is brought to you by STS Education, a Pacific OneSource company. To learn more about how educators can leverage technology to drive successful educational outcomes, check us out at www.stsed.com. Connect with us by searching for Learning Through Technology in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And click subscribe so you don't miss an episode. On behalf of the team at STS Education, thanks for joining us.